Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego here with your live stream from the Panhandle, Florida. It's December 11th, 2024. December's flying by and November's gone. And I know you guys are waiting for your green cards and for your K-1 visas to get approved and your spousal visas, etc., etc. We know that. We know that. Karina's in the back of the house she's right at the door. Come on in, Karina. Now, I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't give you any legal advice in regards to immigration status or anything like that. I'm always on time. I'm never tardy, right? And I don't work for USCIS, and I never give you, like I said, immigration advice. I'm not an immigration attorney. Thank you. But I got 10 years of experience doing this process and helping you. I've been helping you for what? Not on YouTube. I've been helping people for 10 years without a YouTube channel. But Karina, we were in Colombia, in Villa de Leyva, and Karina said, well, I was living in Colombia for a year. The Colombian government wouldn't let me work on a retirement visa. So I put this channel together for you guys. It was Karina's idea, though, not mine. She said, turn your Colombian channel into a K-1 visa channel. So here we are. And I've been doing the YouTube channel. I don't know, I've lost track, but I've made over 1,000 videos for you guys to learn how to do this process for free. So you don't have to pay an immigration attorney billions and billions and billions of pesos. Francois Livingston, good evening, Diego. And Karina, how's it going? We are good. Francois, how's everything in upstate New York? I hope it's not, well, it's going to be cold, right? You said you got snow. So Hamid's hanging in there with the snow, right? But now remember, don't let him drive until he gets his green card. No, don't drive until you get your green card. Francois, it's raining and 45 degrees. Well, it's 49 degrees here, but it was sunny all day. And it was a high of 70. So it was a pretty nice day here in Florida in the Panhandle. So everything's going well for Francois and Hamid. We are glad to hear. Ren S. Hi, Diego. I filed my adjustment of status on November 1st, 2024. My husband had his biometrics on December 2nd. Very good. Then today I received my second Social Security card, which says valid for employment. All right. Actually, read that Social Security card again. Okay. Read the Social Security card. If your husband has a work permit, he can work. If he has a green card, he can work. But you said you just filed for the green card. Okay? You cannot work in the United States without a work permit or a green card. If you have a Social Security card, you cannot work with a Social Security card. It just means you can open up a bank account with your American citizen sponsor and get on bills and things like that. So you received a second card, Renes, that says valid for employment. Well, then your husband must have a work permit. Chris and Emil, yes, indeed, it's cold and cold and cold here. Well, it's wintertime, right? But I think Francois has got it the coldest. Northern upstate New York gets pretty darn cold. Jalou Escalante, hi, Diego. Good evening, Mr. Diego. And Karina, what's going on, Jalou? How is your family doing? I'm making Karina dinner tonight. And I just got done putting it all together and put it in the oven. And it takes about an hour and 10 minutes to cook, which is about the time that we're going to do the live stream. So that's pretty good timing, right? Renes, I thought it would take longer, but the adjustment of status form is still in progress. That's okay. The notice of action says USCIS will mail us a card within 2 weeks for this work permit as it was approved. Congratulations. So then you can put him to work. Now, Renes, if I remember, Renes, you live in Texas, and there's plenty of job opportunities in Texas. So he'll get his work permit, then you can get him to work, and he start making some money and contributing to the Renes family in Texas, which is good, right? Francois Livingston, I still don't know how to do the TB blood test. Well, you got to do it. You got to have it for the green card application for Hamid. There's got to be a doctor somewhere that can do the TB blood test. I mean, seriously, you live in the United States, Francois. There's got to be a doctor somewhere in New York that can do it. Even if you got to travel somewhere, maybe you have to go to New York City to get the TB blood test done. I don't know, but you got to get it done. You got to get all of the vaccinations and everything completed, and you have to get a medical exam done. Now, Francois, listen, I've been telling people for a year to include a Form 693 with their green card application. Include the medical exam. And some people were telling me, well, it's not necessary, it's not mandatory. Okay, well then wait for your RFE. Just wait for your RFE. And then listen up. On December 2nd, 2024, which was what? Last week or so, USCIS has come out with a new wording that says it is mandatory to have your medical exam included with your green card application. You must include a 693 and a vaccination certification in your green card application with the 485 and the 864 and the I-94 and all the other documents. December 2nd, 2024, immigration said it is mandatory. I've been telling you guys to do this for over a year. Some of you listened to me. Some of you didn't. Those who listened to me, they didn't get an RFE on their medical exam. Or they said, and those who didn't listen to me, they told me, well, I got to do my medical exam. I got to repeat. I got an RFE. I didn't include a medical exam in my green card application. Well, guess what? You're lucky if you get an RFE. Okay. Now, effective December 2nd, this is the new rule. This is the new rule. If you don't include a medical exam with a vaccination certification in your green card application, okay, there's a good chance your green card will be denied and you will be sent home. I'm serious. They're not playing around. When Trump was president, okay, he made a rule that said you got to include the 693 with the green card application. He wants to make sure you're medically qualified for the green card, which is fine. And he also said if you don't include the medical exam in the green card application, if you got some excuse, you can't do it, you can't find a doctor, your green card will be denied. That was during the Trump administration. During the Biden administration, they let anybody in the country. They didn't care if you were sick, dying, or whatever. You could come in here and us taxpayers would take care of you. But Trump just got reelected president. So USCIS has made a ruling. They said, okay, we're going to get ready for the Trump presidency. So December 2nd, they said, in preparation for the Trump presidency, you must include a medical exam and vaccination certification with your green card application. You got no choice now. In the past, some people were getting away with it. Well, I couldn't find a doctor. Okay. Well, I couldn't. Okay. Now that's gone. Francois, you can do this. Francois, you can get a TB blood test done. You can do it. For Hamid, you can do it. New York City's got doctors on every street corner and attorneys in front of the doctor's offices. And then you got all these different, New York City, I'm sure you can do it. Let me see here. Renes, do you think we will have a face-to-face scary visa interview for the green card? It depends on how strong of a green card application you put together. If you put together a very, very, very strong green card application with so much evidence, it's good enough for a 10-year green card, chances are you won't have another interview. But if you just put the bare minimum, marriage certificate, a couple of pictures, just the bare minimum, then you're going to be in front of an immigration officer again. Now, when Trump when Trump is in the White House, when President Trump is sitting in the big chair in the Oval Office, don't be surprised if, I'm not saying K1 visas are going to be blocked or anything. They're not, but they're going to be a lot stricter. Trump's going to make it a lot stricter. You got to have a medical exam. You got to submit an excellent package. Okay. Don't give immigration a reason to deny your green card. Don't give them a reason. Well, you didn't submit this. You didn't submit enough picture evidence. There's not enough photos in your green card application to confirm that this is a real relationship. So we're going to deny your green card. Things are going to get pretty strict over the next 4 years. And luckily for you guys, you're going to have Karina and I to hang out with, so you don't have to get a failure or a denial. because I'm going to get you through this. If you listen to me. Those folks in the past that didn't listen to me when I told them to get a 693 for their green card application and they were getting RFEs, they were lucky to get an RFE, but then Biden was president. Now, if you do the same thing now, if you don't include a medical exam in your green card application, you're not going to get an RFE. You're going to get an outright denial, and they're going to pack you home. You got to listen to me, guys. Renes, I had a social security card for my husband after weeks of getting married before we applied. Okay, for a green card. Great, good. David Mora, hi. Hope you are well, both doing well. A few weeks ago, you helped out with info about submitting the extra Interpol police reports. So you must be in Colombia or for a Venezuelan in Colombia. And today we had our K1 visa issued. Thank you so much. Well, that's a Mountain Dew salute. David Mora, you listened to Karina. You listened to me. You did what you followed the advice that we went through, that we experienced. David gets a Mountain Dew salute for the success in Bogota, Colombia, for his Venezuelan prometida. Okay? So let me see, David. Salute, everybody give David Mora a big high five, okay? Because I know how difficult it was for Karina to get through a K1 visa interview after living in Colombia for 6 years. She's from Venezuela. So David, we explained to David the process that Karina had to go through, and that saved his prometida from getting a freaking RFE and a 221G on an Interpol police certificate. So we saved David probably 4 or 5 weeks of more time in Colombia. Renas, you could open up your account, your joint account. That's correct. With a social security number, you need a joint bank account to show you got to show commingling of funds. Francois, now it's mandatory that you have to have a physical. Yes. The civil surgeon office told me to fill out the 693. No, the doctor, the administrative assistant fills out the 693. Francois, the administrative assistant fills out the 693. Then the doctor does the physical and he signs the 693. Okay? So you have a civil surgeon who is lazy. That office is lazy. They want to take your money for the green card medical exam, but they don't want to do the freaking work other than the medical exam. They're responsible for the paperwork. But if, in order to prevent a slowing down of your case, go ahead and fill out the 693. Okay, but that your office there in New York, what is it? It must be ran by Democrats, right? Freaking lazy. Don't want to do nothing. Let's see here. Renes, for the proof of the AOS application, right? Chris and Emma, how much does it cost to do a second medical test after it was done in the Philippines? Depends where you live. You got to, number one, you got to find a civil surgeon. Number one, you got to find a civil surgeon that's authorized by USCIS to give green card medical exams, number one. And then once you find that person, wherever it is you live, you call up the office and say, hey, I need a medical exam for my wife's green card application. I need for you to sign off on a 693. They're going to say, okay, we know what that is. How much does it cost? And the administrative assistant will tell you how much it costs. Here in Florida, Karina had her medical exam in Pensacola. It was $175 for the whole medical exam and the vaccination certification and signing in the 693. And the administrative assistant for the doctor, she did all the paperwork for the 693. All the doctor had to do was give Karina the physical and sign the form and put it in a sealed envelope and seal it, and you put it in the green card application. It is now mandatory. So don't, I got people messaging me saying, well, I had my medical exam in India, so I don't need to have another medical exam in the United States. Well, yes, you do. Yes, you do. December 2nd, USCIS said you will have a medical exam in the United States, signed off by a civil surgeon in America. Boom. If you don't, you're going to get your green card, not an RFE. You're going to be denied. Probably starting January 20th when President Trump sworn into office. He wants to make sure you are doing the paperwork correctly and don't be lazy. So Chris and Emma, how much does it cost? It depends on where you live and what the doctor charges. Jalu Escalante, Mr. Diego, Let me see here. I got to page up a second, guys. Mr. Diego, I'm just curious about the authorization employment. I just got my approved for employment. My question is, do I need to renew because I have expired date? Number one, Jalu, your work permit is going to be good for 5 years. Number two, if you're talking about your I-94 expiring, perhaps, right? Jalu, your I-94 has expired, right? That's what you're saying. Your work permit didn't expire because it's good for 5 years. Don't worry about it. You're in status. You're in status. Forget about the I-94. It's irrelevant. Once you get an approved green card and approved work permit, the I-94 is just, you just carry it around with you to show you entered the United States legally while you wait for your green card and work permit. So don't worry about it. Francois Hammond is getting his varicella vaccine at the county health department for free. Well, that's a Mountain Dew salute. Something for free in New York. What an amazing thing that is. A free vaccine. That's good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Let me see here. And varicella and TB are only two things that he needs to do. Not too bad. No, you're getting there, Francois, but you got to get it done. Okay? The folks that listen to me on this channel over the last year or so, over this medical stuff, they're telling me, well, USCIS says I don't have to include a medical exam. I've already had one in my foreign country. Okay? But what you don't know, what I knew, and what I know about this process is it doesn't say you got to repeat your medical exam in the United States anywhere. It doesn't say anywhere. They said you can do it later if you get time. But that's not correct. So when I put the channel together for you, to help you, the folks that listened to me and got the repeat medical exam done in America, they're getting their green cards. The folks that didn't listen to me, I already got my medical exam done in the Philippines. I don't need to repeat it. Okay, then don't. They're getting RFEs. Where's your medical exam at? And then a person sending me a message saying, well, there's nowhere it says I got to have it. Well, yeah, you do. So December 2nd, now I've been saying this for a year. So I've saved a lot of people from a big headache because I know what's going on behind the doors at immigration. I just know what's going on. So now immigration came out with a notice saying December 2nd, you must include a medical exam in your green card application. If you don't, the possibility of being denied is high. Trump's got no time for RFEs. He wants to reduce paperwork. You either submit the application correctly or you don't. If you don't, you're going to get denied. If you submit it correctly, you're going to get your green card. Do you understand what I'm saying? Immigration is busy. They're too busy to be meddling around with people that can't freaking follow directions. So they put it in public writing. They've made it public. Medical exam mandatory. And I made a video about it, so there's no excuse. Jay Hughes, hi Diego, please, how do I get my medical exam done in California and what are the tests I need to get? Jay Hughes, you got to find a civil surgeon that's authorized by the USCIS, the State Department. Okay, so you can go into the USCIS website, type in USCIS civil surgeon. You can do that. And then it will bring you to a place where you can put in your state. Okay, where I live in California. Then it says what city, and then you put the city where you live. And then it gives you a list of doctors that the U.S. State Department, USCIS, Homeland Security has authorized. So go on. So Jay Hughes, you go into Google civil surgeon for green card, medical exam, California. And then the city you live in. And it will give you a list of doctors. And then you pick a doctor. And then you go find out. Then you call the doctor and say, hey, I need a medical green card exam. And I need my I-693 signed off. And I need my vaccinations recertified. The doctor's administrative assistant is going to say, no problem. Easy day. We'll set an appointment for this day. And it costs this much. So you go in. You can pay probably by a credit card. You pay the administrative assistant for the medical exam. The doctor does the medical exam. Then he or she signs the I-693, puts it in a sealed envelope, and asks for 2 copies. Say, hey, I need 2. Well, there's an extra $10 charge for the second one. That's a guess. Okay, then pay. Because if immigration loses the 693, you got a backup, right? So although now it's mandatory that you include a medical exam with your green card application, the good news is it's indefinite. It's in the past, it used to be good for only for 2 years. So you get your medical exam done, okay, in the United States of America for your green card, and it was only good for 2 years. And then you got to lift the conditions. You got to lift the conditions off your 2-year green card and get a 10-year green card, but your medical exam's expired. In the past, you had to repeat the friggin' thing. Immigration said this, okay? They said, you got to file a mandatory medical exam with the green card application, and it's indefinite. So you don't have to worry about it for the 2-year. Once the 2-year green card expires, when you apply for lifting the conditions off of the 2-year green card, you don't have to do another medical exam because it's indefinite. You got it? But Francois, you've got this, okay? You can do this. Take a trip to New York City. Look for a doctor there. So Jay Hughes, you got to do some research. It's not difficult. Google will give you a instant doctor for a medical exam for a green card in the city you live in, California. Now remember, in California, if you live in a big city like Los Angeles or San Diego, there's a lot of freaking people live in Los Angeles. Most of them are illegal, right? Just my opinion. So it's going to take time to get an appointment for a green card medical exam. Okay? So if you have to travel, if you live in California, and let's suppose you have to, you can get, it takes 3 months to get a freaking medical exam appointment. Find one in Nevada. How far is Nevada from where you live? You can get a green card medical exam a lot quicker probably in Nevada or Utah than you can in California. Just my opinion. I'm trying to help you. But you got to call and you got to find out where they are, where these people are. And what test do you need to get? The civil surgeon will tell you. You're going to get an appointment for a green card medical exam. The civil surgeon knows exactly what's required, what the tests are required, etc. The civil surgeon doctor will tell you, Jay Hughes, we need this, this, and this, and you do it. And then you pay him. And then you get a white envelope with the 693 neatly folded up, sealed up for USCIS eyes only. Put it in a document protector and include it in your green card application. And you're good to go. But make sure the doctor signs the paperwork. Hey, doc, you signed the 693, right? Oh, yeah. Okay. Make sure. If the doctor forgets to sign it, then you're going to get a green card denial possibly. Now, starting December 2nd. Immigration is getting ready for the Trump administration. USCIS is getting ready for a Trump presidency. Trump's strict. He's strict. Okay? Francois, I was told the physical is $200 by itself, and that's without any blood tests that the civil surgeon might order. Yeah. Clearance was $175, and then I think we had to do the blood test thing, and that was what, $75 for the blood test. We got the blood test done. We sent it back to the civil surgeon. The doctor said, "Okay, you're good." Signed off on the vaccinations, and that was it. Couldn't have got a green card in 3 months. We had a green card package that was so good it was qualified for a 10-year green card. We've been together for going into 4 years now. We had a lot of evidence, okay? So Jay Hughes, how do I get my medical exam done? Google USCIS Green Card Medical Exam, California. And you'll get a list of doctors. Ren S, does the approval of one's work permit determine we won't get an RFE for the green card application if we send enough evidence? Yeah, there's a good possibility. It's 90%. There's a 10% chance, but it's 90%. I added proof of our relationship from the start. Well, there you go. That's why you're getting things done. We did the same thing. You must have listened to the last live stream I did 6 months ago. When you submit your green card application, include the relationship where it started and where you're at right now. We were together 3 years when we submitted the green card application. So we had pictures from 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. You want to load up when you file for your green card. Load up as much evidence as you can, okay? Let's see here. Good job, Reness. So I'll give Reness a Mountain Dew salute for her diligence. But Francois is still top of the class, guys. Reness, you paid $150 for the 693. There you go. We showed all the vaccine records of what my husband got here in Texas and what he got in Ghana. That's good. Reness, you are following this channel, and you're learning from it, and you're doing the things I'm requesting you to do, not for me, for you guys. And Jay Hughes, who fills out the 693? The civil surgeon does, the administrative assistant. The administrative assistant fills out the 693. Here in Florida, I called the doctor up. I said, hey, I got to get a green card medical exam for my wife. I said, I got the 693 here. The doctor's administrative assistant told me, Diego, we don't need you to fill out the 693. I do it here in the office. Oh, great. Less freaking paperwork for me. So then I set the appointment. I scanned over Karina's vaccination records to the doctor. The administrative assistant said she needed a blood test for this. So we went down to, I don't know, I think it was like some kind of medical center. We got the blood test done. I sent it back to the administrative assistant in a PDF file. She said, you're good. All the vaccines are good. Come to your medical exam. We drove over to Pensacola. We went into the medical exam. I didn't. Well, yeah, I sat with Karina. I was in there as a translator. And it was done. And the doc signed the 693, and the administrative assistant filled out the paperwork. And then gave Karina the paperwork. And here's your medical exam. And here's a second copy. Well, great. We got a second copy as a backup. We put it in a document protector, sent it off with the green card application. Shiku Dumbaya. Diego, I have sent my application with the medical works. I do in Africa. No, you send off your green card application with a medical exam done in the United States by a civil surgeon in America. So I got an itchy nose, guys. Excuse me. Not Shiku. You do a medical exam with a civil surgeon in America, and you get the 693 signed for you and one for your daughter, because if I remember, you have an 11-year-old child that came with you. She needs a medical exam done also. She needs a 693. You need a 693. Rennes, I took my husband to the county clinic for the vaccines. Was much cheaper than all the pharmacies and clinics. Texas is expensive. Texas is insane in price, especially for property taxes. Now, I was a real estate agent for a long time, and I studied the real estate market in Texas, okay? So if you're planning on buying a house in Texas, you can get a beautiful home for a pretty good price, a pretty good deal, a great deal, until you get your tax bill. And then the government basically robs you blind in property taxes. So if you live in Texas, you can buy a nice house for not a very expensive. It's less than the average market price, but you're going to get robbed with property taxes. They got some of the highest property taxes in the United States, next to New Jersey. Francois Livingston, then why did the civil surgeon office secretary tell me I need to fill out the 693 if I'm not the one who's supposed to fill it out? She's the administrative assistant, Francois, is the person that fills out the 693 at the office. This is a legal document that you shouldn't be touching other than putting into your green card application. It's a legal document. The administrative assistant, Karina, I asked the administrative assistant, hey, do you want me to fill out this 693? She said, no, you can't do that. It's a legal document. I said, okay. She said, I fill it out. So there's no problem. So you don't touch it. I said, okay. The doctor filled it out. Well, the administrative assistant filled it out. Karina had a medical exam done, and the doctor signed it. I didn't touch the form. So you need to basically, Francois, you need to ask that freaking doctor's office, are you sure I don't touch this 693? Repeat the question, because you don't want to have any problems cropping up with Hamid's medical exam. CQ, I did not do another medical. I had the vaccine worksheet. CQ, when you file, as of December 2nd, it's mandatory. You got to do a repeat medical exam for a green card. Okay? You got to repeat it. And I've been saying this over and over and over. For the last year, I've been saying, guys, get a medical exam, repeat medical exam, and include it in your green card application. I knew this day was coming. Don't call me Nostradamus. I just know, and I knew that this day was coming. And I was preparing you all for the mandatory medical exam. December 2nd, it went into effect. But because you are all listening to me, you've already been including the 693s in your green card application. But Shiku didn't do it. I have no money for that. I sent the whole worksheet, medical vaccination in Freetown. I have sent my files already. So Shiku, you're going to have to wait and see what immigration says. Hopefully you just get an RFE. They're going to ask you to repeat the medical exam, Shiku. You're going to have to do it. I've been saying this for over a year. Dina, Ali, Diego, I need help filling out the green card for my husband. Filling out the green card for my husband. The sponsor didn't work. 2023, I worked as an independent contractor. Does that work? Immigration don't care if you worked in as an independent contractor. What they care about is how much money did you make in 2023. Now we're getting close to 2024. If you made a lot more money in 2024 than you did in 2023, then file your taxes in January and include that tax return in the green card application if it's a lot of money. Immigration don't care if you worked as an independent contractor. They don't care. I was an independent contractor as a real estate agent. I worked for a broker. I was an independent contractor. Okay? When I worked for Mercedes-Benz, I was an independent contractor. Okay? They don't care. When I filed for the K-1 visa, I was an independent contractor. It all depends on how much money you make. And you want to make at least 4 or 5 grand above 125% of the family size. So if you look at if you look at the amount that you have to make, if you look at the amount of money, so if you're a family of 2, 125% is $25,550. Is a minimum you got to make to qualify for the green card for a family of 2 in 2024. But the thing is this. Immigration is actually looking for $36,000. They're looking for $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $10,000 above the minimum. If you apply for a green card and your minimum and you make $25,550, you're right on the line. They're going to ask you for a joint sponsor. If you get lots of money from income that's tax-free, that you don't file a tax return. If you make 60 grand a year, and it's all tax-free, medical, disability, retired military disability, and you don't file a tax return. If you make 60 grand a year in tax-free income, that's a lot of money, right? And it would cover a family of 6. But you got to get a joint sponsor because immigration will not accept tax-free income. They want to see what's on line 9 of your 1040. If you don't file a 1040, you need a joint sponsor. I don't care how much money you make. Francois, you need to call the office up and ask them why you're being directed to fill out the 693, considering it's an immigration legal document that's in control by the civil surgeon, not the sponsor. CQ, I did not do another medical. Well, just all you can do is wait and see what immigration says, CQ. They're probably just going to ask you for they're probably going to send you an RFE now, this time around, or, and say, hey, you just got to get the medical exam done. But when Trump is in office on January 20th, if you don't file a medical exam with your green card application, you're not going to get an RFE. You're going to get a deportation, a denial letter. Chris and Emil, important, do not break the seal or open the envelope. We will not accept Form I-693 if it is not in a sealed envelope or if it is altered in any way. You are 110% correct, Chris and Emil. Sheik, you'll have no money for that. I sent the worksheet, medical vaccination, Freetown. All you can do, Shiku, is wait and see what happens. I got a feeling because it's brand new. Well, it's not brand new. I knew it was coming a year ago, and I tried to keep you guys in a loop. I think you're going to get an RFE, Shiku, for a medical exam. That's what I think is going to happen. Okay, for you and your daughter. Dina, immigration don't care how much money you made as an independent contractor. They just want to they don't care you're an independent contractor. They just want to make sure you make enough money above 125%. You can use that information, Dina, that income. Chris and Emma, I'm contacting USCIS live person. Check her case to see if she needs a 693 form, a medical exam again. Well, Chris and Emma, if you don't believe what I'm telling you, there's no reason for you to be on this channel. I just told you on December 2nd of 2024, it is mandatory that you include a 693 with your green card application. And now you're on here saying, I'm calling USCIS live to see if she needs a 693. Did you file the green card after December 2nd of 2024? Chris and Emil, I don't know why I wasted my time on here. Rohit, hi Diego, what's going on, Rohit? Renes, I've been following you since the start of my K1 2.5 years ago. Renes, 2.5 years you've been hanging out with us. I'll give you a Mountain Dew salute. Chris and Emil is calling USCIS after I told everybody it's mandatory to have a 693 included in your green card application, effective December 2nd. Mountain Dew salute to Renes. Chris and Emil, go ahead and call USCIS. Renes, your channel has helped me where my lawyer never did. Now, immigration attorneys, they like to take your money. Okay? Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And then when they take your money, not all of them, but some of them, they abandon you. And if you get an RFE, you don't hear about it for maybe late. And then immigration sending you letters saying, we're denying your visa because you didn't respond to the RFE. There are some lazy immigration attorneys out there. Now, not all of them. But quite honestly, you should never put your K1 visa application or your green card application in the hands of a second person. You need to be controlling it yourself. Okay? You need to control the visa process. You're Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor. If you put it in the hands of somebody else, like these companies, you can pay a company, I don't know, $1,000, whatever, to do your green card application. That company is now responsible for the process. Immigration is not going to contact you, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor. They're going to contact the immigration attorney or the company that you hired. So you're left in the dark. You don't know what's going on until somebody tells you who's a third party. This visa process for a K1 is easy. The I-129F is 13 pages long. If you can read and write and add and subtract, you can fill out an I-129F. You just got to know what to include with the application. Now, Renes, we've been helping Renes for 2.5 years. I didn't know this channel was going that long, but we're glad that you got through it, Renes. And if you just follow my advice, guys, I'm going to help you. You're going to get through this. If you want to double check me, when I put out information, if you want to call it USCIS and double check what I'm saying, go right ahead. I got no problem with it. But if you're calling USCIS to do the process, then what? You don't need to be on the channel, really, right? Let me see. Dina Ali, Renes, he's the best. Well, we love you guys, okay? We're here to help you. Yes, Diego is very helpful. Every form I used his videos to fill out. Oh, yeah. Rohit, just a question on the I-485 application. After the interview waived, how long does it take to get final decision about the green card? Okay, Rohit, when you went to the biometrics, took your picture, did the fingerprints, you did the full signature. It's taken about 9 to 10 months to get a green card from the date you went to the biometrics. So whatever you read online about final decisions and visa interviews waived and all this other stuff that you're reading on your online account, just put in your head 9 to 10 months from the biometrics date. So whenever you had your biometrics, add 9 to 10 months to that from that date, and that's when you'll get the green card. For the work permit, it's about 3 to 4 months. Renes, funny thing was he's trying to understand the work permit application while filling out that. I'm surprised I got it correct, as their language is pure immigration talk. Right. So I've made videos on how to fill out the 797 for the work permit. I put it in language that's not immigration talk. I put it in language that a 6-year-old can understand. If you watch the videos on how to process the I-485, the 797, the 864, the I-129F, maybe I should just make new videos and update the videos. But if you watch the videos, I say it in language that's easy to understand, not in lingo lawyer talk. Renes, the I-485 is easier to understand. Just the financial tricky, right? Lots of people make mistakes on the 864 because if they put the wrong family size down. You got to put the family size down on the 864. This is the sponsor who signs this. The beneficiary signs the 485, the application for the green card, and the sponsor signs the 864, which is the affidavit of support. And 70% of all the errors that come back to bite you on the 864 is they mess up the family size, because immigration has added an automatic 1 at the bottom. So you got to get some white out and get rid of that, because there's no such thing as a family size of 1. Doesn't exist, not in immigration anyway. So you count the people that you brought to the United States. This is on page 2, I think, of the 864, and you put that at the top of the page. Then you include yourself. So if you brought 2 people over and then you include yourself, that's 3. Your family size is 3. But people are getting confused on the family size. They're saying, well, there's my 2, and there's me, and then it says, are you married? Well, you are married, that's correct. But this is have you been married before? Do you have another person that you're responsible for? Or are you divorced? That's what that means. So people are putting a family size of 4 when they're really a family size of 3. And that's messing up their whole paperwork. And it gets sent back to them. If you watch the video I made on the 864, you will be able to fill out the 864 properly without any mistakes. And Red S, your videos helped a lot, Diego, and got me past the RFE. There you go. The clinic said I could fill out my 693, but I said no thanks and let them fill it out. There you go. Especially for all that money they charged. Well, it's not just the money. That's important. But what's important is it's a legal document. And you don't want to put your fingers on it. You want the doctor, his administrative assistant, who apparently is lazy in Texas and upstate New York. You need to have him fill out the 693. Okay? When I set up Karina's medical exam for her green card in Pensacola, the administrative assistant said, I cannot fill out the 693. She said, don't do it. It's a legal form. I said, hey, good. That's less for me to do. So I know it was done right. Well, I can do it right. I know how to fill out 693, obviously. But I was told not to do it. And I didn't. And guess what? Karina got a green card in 3 months and a couple of weeks. 3 months and 2 weeks. Yeah, Renes, they charge a lot of money. Francois, I will be calling that office the next day. We'll let you know what they say. Yeah, Francois, call them up and ask them, hey, tell them this is a legal document, okay? And the administrative assistant's the person that needs to be filling it out in their office. Just what I was told here in Florida, that it's a legal document. And I pass that information on to you guys to save you from getting any mistakes. Christopher Reese, good evening. What a day. Hope you all are doing well. Christopher, we're good. It's not too bad. The weather's pretty good here. It was raining yesterday, but it was still 70 degrees in the daytime. Ren S. I submitted my adjustment of status on November 1st, 2024, and I didn't do a redo on the medical, but did have the civil surgeon sign off on the 693. So that's basically the same thing. All my husband's vaccines from Ghana to Texas. That was in November. We are now December 2nd. As of December 2nd, 2024, you got to redo the medical exam. Okay? They want to see the 693 included, plus the vaccinations with the green card application. What if after you filed the adjustment of status and while it's in progress, you find a job that pays more that can help you? Well, then take the job. If you get a better job, take the job. Chris and Emil, that is correct. I want to make sure. No need to get. Oh, I'm not getting mad, Chris and Emil. I never get mad. I put out information, and I got it's no big deal to me if you want to double check what I say. It's what I say. I recommend you do it if you want to, but you're just taking up the phone lines in USCIS, tying up their time. Thumbs up. Yes, you need a 693. That is correct. Well, that's what I've been saying. I don't care if you call USCIS. I'm just trying to reduce the phone. Their phones are busy. The more you call USCIS with questions, the longer they're tying up their phone lines and the less time they have to process freaking visas. Renes, it was in Google News yesterday, as Diego is correct. It was, I didn't know that. It was in the news yesterday. Well, Renes, I'm going to give you a Mountain Dew salute because I put out information on this channel that will help you with 0 errors. But I'm glad that you have confirmed it, and Chris and Emil confirmed it by calling USCIS. And René said Google News has said what I just said is true. I don't watch Google News. I don't have time for watching the news. I just hang out with my beautiful Karina and watch YouTube channels. I don't pay attention much to the news because it's always bad. Let me see. Period. Renes about the medical for new adjustment of status. Okay. So everything I just said, Renes has said is true because it was in Google News. And Chris and Emil called a USCIS and confirmed it. Chris and Emil, Diego is right. It's clearly stated on the USCIS website. And it was in Google News. Let me see. Chris and Emil, okay, no need to get mad. Making sure. I'm not getting mad. I'm just wondering why you don't believe what I'm telling you. You're good, Chris and Emil. Renes Google along with USCIS website. Okay, says all current requirements. So everything changed December 2nd. And I've been preparing you guys for this a year ago. I knew this change was coming. I knew it was coming. And especially now that Trump's been elected president, he's going to enforce it on day one. But it's already enforced. It's being enforced right now. It's being enforced right now. On December 2nd, it went into effect. So what is USCIS doing? They are preparing for a Trump presidency with immigration. Chris and Emil got scared that I would get mistakes, making sure to file everything needed. Well, you're good. Francois, I, for one, believe Diego 100% as he got me through a rough RFE during our K1 visa process. I have been following this awesome channel since 2022. Time flies. Well, Francois, I lost track of time, how long we've been doing the channel. I really don't know how long we've been doing this. It must be over 2 years. And we did save Francois, we did save you from a rough spot. An immigration attorney would have took $5 or $6 grand out of your purse to fix it, right? At least $6 grand. And then I don't even know if they could have fixed it. Maybe. But, it is what the main thing is. You have got married to Hamid and you're getting the green card package together. Dina Alley, Chris and Emil, he's not mad. He's trying to help. Yeah, I'm just trying to. I just don't want to tie up the lines at USCIS. I don't want to tie up those phone lines. They're too busy. Hello? 693s. Yeah, mandatory effective December 2nd. Oh, okay. You're not going to get any problems, Chris and Emma. Frank Valdez just joined on. Well, welcome, Frank Valdez. I already sent off my application, 485, the adjustment status paperwork. Where do I send the 693 form? You include it with the green card application. Frank Valdez. The I-45, the I-485, the 864, the 693, they all go in the same box, and they all go to the same address. So wherever you sent your green card application, you need to overnight that 693 tomorrow to that same address to make sure you don't get a freaking RFE on the medical exam. And you need to write a letter and explain that you forgot to include it in your green card application, because effective December 2nd, it is mandatory you include the 693 with the green card application. It's mandatory. Mandatory means you got to do it. Okay? So you can say you need to write a letter of explanation. I forgot to include it, and include a copy of your NOA2 letter or your green card application, your I-797 green card approval. When you got the green card approval, attach that to the letter with the 693. It has to be in a sealed envelope, taped up, and overnight it to the place you sent your green card application. Okay, so then that way they can put the approval with your green card and they can put the things together, and hopefully that saves you from an RFE. So you send it to Chicago, yeah. You better tomorrow overnight that. Tomorrow, overnight it with an explanation. So tonight you're going to write a letter of explanation. I forgot to include it. I apologize. Put 1,000 lashes. Okay, and get it to them tomorrow overnight. So that way, by the time they open up your green card application, and hopefully you included a form G1145, so they will text you when they receive it and open it. Nick Alejandro, Diego, my fiance had her K1 interview and passed. Awaiting the passport. Much thanks. Dakar, Senegal. Mountain Dew salute to Nick Alejandro and to his bride-to-be in Senegal, to the people of Senegal. It's a beautiful country. Great food, too. So, but I got to put, folks, I'm going to have to put some pixie dust, okay, on Frank's 693. I got to put pixie dust on that thing, okay? Because you got, as of effective December 2nd, you got to put them together and include it with the green card application. Renes Diego, put my family size of 3. Okay. Family size of 3. Minimum income is $32,275. If you make 4 or 5 grand above that, you shouldn't need a joint sponsor. I put my family size of 3, myself, my son, as I claim him on my taxes. He's 22, plus your husband. You got a 22-year-old living at home, and you're claiming him on your taxes. Renes, what are you doing? Okay, let's see. Guy Trainer, good evening. My question is about the I-130. So what? Okay, you got a spousal visa, right? We got married in the United States on a K1 visa. However, my wife had a family emergency 30 days after and she had to leave before getting permission. Well, you got to repeat the process. You got to file a spousal visa now. So you got married on the K1 within 90 days, and she left. You had no advance parole, nothing. She just went home. Well, that's going to cost you probably 2 years of time, at least. You got married on a K1. Your wife had to go back on a family emergency 30 days and had to leave without permission. It's been 10 months now. Well, surprise, surprise. From the I-130, how much longer do you think we have to wait? I asked because Trump will be in office soon. She's in the Dominican Republic. At least 18 months to 2 years. A spousal visa is taking longer than a K1. So when you filed the spousal visa, did you write an affidavit, an explanation as to why she left before you even applied for the green card? Did you write a letter of explanation? I mean, immigration don't mess around. It's not just Trump, okay? It's something like that needs to be explained. And you got to have evidence of the emergency. Do you have any evidence? Did you include evidence with the spousal visa, the I-130, for the emergency? You got to prove it. Immigration wants to see what happened. Okay, you had an emergency. What happened? Well, this is what happened. Okay, do you have any proof of that? Do you have doctors? Do you have medical information? Do you have, did somebody pass away in the family? Is there a family emergency? You got to prove it. Trump's going to be in office very soon. Yeah, that's true. But it's irrelevant with Trump being in office. You're married to a lady from the Dominican Republic, so you can file for the spousal visa, but you have to explain what the heck happened on the K1. You got to explain it. It's very important that you write an explanation. It's going to take at least 18 months, maybe 2 years. RNS, do you think I'll get an RFE for the medical? If you filed the green card application before December 2nd and you included vaccination certifications, I don't know, probably not. We'll see. What we can do is see what happens. But effective December 2nd, if you haven't filed your green card application yet, if you haven't filed it, you must repeat the medical exam, get a 693 and include it, and the vaccinations also. Guy Trainer, I'm sorry that happened to you, man. I tried to include the evidence because I went through my congressman and they denied it for getting expedited. No, they're not going to expedite it unless you're active duty military fixing to deploy. Your congressman cannot expedite something like that. Your wife made a decision to leave the United States without permission, without advance parole. It's a huge error. It's a big immigration error. And you can fix it with an I-130 spousal visa. It's going to be a CR1 spousal visa. But it's going to take about 20 months to get it fixed. Binay Alaf, hello Diego and Karina. Thank you for your help. You're welcome. We got an RFE for the 864. That's the affidavit of support. And my sponsor's tax income of last year is lower than what's needed. Okay. But this year his income is higher than the FBG. What should we do? Get a joint sponsor. Get a joint sponsor, Binay, tomorrow. And respond to the RFE with the joint sponsor. And all the evidence of the income for 2024. Pay stubs, bank statements, direct deposits, a letter from the boss, okay, saying, this is how much my sponsor makes now in 2024. This is the income my sponsor makes in 2024. And get it on letterhead of the company and have the boss sign it, okay? Get a joint sponsor. Tomorrow, get a joint sponsor. Plus, include all of the evidence of the new income for 2024. Jay Hughes, so do I get the result of the test of the form I-693 the same day? Yeah. Karina went into her medical exam for the green card. Excuse me, I don't know what it is. I vacuumed the carpets. Maybe I got dust flying around. Karina went for her medical exam for her green card in Pensacola. It took about an hour and a half, 2 hours, an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then the doctor came out and said, you're good to go, and signed the 693 within 2 hours. And she had her 693 signed and in a sealed envelope within 2.5 hours. The administrative assistant went into her computer, typed it up in WordPerfect or whatever they use, printed it, doc signed it, put it in an envelope. They sealed it with some stuff like, like this. open this. And they typed on the back for USCIS eyes only. It was like the Bourne Supremacy. I was like James Bond. I'm serious. It was like James Bond. They put tape on the back of this letter, and they said for USCIS eyes only. I thought this was a James Bond movie, but it was a medical exam. And Karina got her green card in 3 months and 10 days, something like that. So Jay Hughes, go get your medical exam done in California. Have the doc sign the 693, and you'll get the results in about right after the medical exam, right after. And then they'll give you the paperwork right after, because you need it for the green card application. Chris and Emma, what's the difference of the medical exam expires April 10th, 2025? She has it in her mind. She has to be done again for the I-693. Chris and Emma, your wife is from the Philippines, right? You live, and where do you live? Are you in Mississippi? Where do you live? I can't remember. Forgive me. Just repeat the medical exam with a civil surgeon. I don't care what the other medical exam says. I couldn't care less what it says. It's irrelevant. Effective December 2nd, you got to repeat the medical exam. You got to do it over. Okay? It's got to be a do-over. Dina Alley, do you have a video talking about how to apply for the green card? Yes. Dina Alley, look for adjustment of status video. Look for this video. I'll type it right here. If you look for this video, if you look for this video in the channel, you can watch the videos and it will teach you how to file for a green card. It's much cheaper to watch the video than to pay an immigration attorney $5,000, right? The video, you can drink some Mountain Dew, get some popcorn, watch the video, and then you know how to do it. Didn't cost you a penny. But Guy Trainer, it's going to take, I would say the maximum will be 2 years. You're at 10 months already, so you got about another year to go. 10 months, another 10 months, let's say. Because immigration they're scratching their head and they're trying to figure out, why did your wife leave without advance parole? Okay, family emergency, we understand. But advance parole was created for family emergencies. You don't just up and leave the United States once you get married on a K-1 visa without advance parole. If you do, you're going to be up the creek without a paddle for at least 2 years. Because then you got to file the spousal visa, the CR1. And then you got to upload documents. You got to get that approved. You got to get an NOA2 letter. You got to pay the visa fees. Then it's got to go to the National Visa Center. Then they look at it. Then you got to upload documents to the National Visa Center. K-1 visa is easy, right? Boom, 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 boom. Now you're in a spousal visa. They're a pain. Then the NVC gets all the documents. You get documentary qualified. Then what happens? The NVC will schedule the interview for you in the Dominican Republic when there's a spot available. But they're going to look at your green card. They're going to look at your K-1 visa package from the past and go, why did she leave? Where's the evidence of the emergency? Hopefully you included that in the spousal visa application. A strong reason why she left. A doctor's information from the doctor. I don't know what the reason was, but you got to prove it. And a congressman's not going to give you an expedite on something like that. That was a decision that your wife made. They're not going to expedite it. Chris and Emil, now she's starting to understand what has to be done with the 693. Well, I hope so, Chris and Emil. All you got to do is find a civil surgeon in Mississippi, where you live, call the doctor, say, hey, are you a doctor that's authorized to do green card medical exams? Yes, I am. Okay, set an appointment, get your vaccination documents, or your wife's, PDF them to the administrative assistant. The administrative assistant looks at the PDF file, says, okay, your vaccinations are good. Go to the medical exam, and 2 hours later, you got a 693 signed in a sealed envelope. And you're done with it. And it cost you probably $200. Boogeyman, hey Diego, how are you doing? It's sad. I already did my medical twice. Now it's going to be a third since I came here on a K1. Diego, my wife is an American citizen and she wants to change her name. Should we also include that in the adjustment of status file? Yes. If you're a guy, Boogeyman, you came to America, you married an American citizen, female, and she takes your last name. So now she's Mrs. Boogeyman. When she fills out the 864 for the affidavit of support, she's going to use her new last name, which is you. She's going to be Mrs. Boogeyman on the 864. And on the 485, where her name comes up, you're going to put Mrs. Boogeyman. Okay? She needs to go get a driver's license change. She needs to change her driver's license to her last name, her new last name, to your last name. She needs to go to the bank and get her last name changed on her bank account. Once you get the green card, once you get the Social Security number, you can be a joint account holders. All of the legal documents that your wife has under her old name, she needs to change to your last name. Bank, driver's license, electric bill, water bill, phone bill, all of it. And you include all that in the green card application. You got it? It's easy, Boogeyman. And I'm sorry you're on your third medical, but it's better to get it done and get your green card than to just worry about it. Just do it. Just do it. Karina had a medical exam in Colombia, Bogota. Was it November 16th? November 8th. November 8th, 2023, Karina had her medical exam in Bogota, Colombia. She had to have a chest x-ray. She had to have blood work. She had to have this. She did a medical exam. It cost me like $400. Okay, I just pay cash, efectivo, para el doctor, and then I use my credit card for the chest x-ray in Bogota, Colombia. No problem. When she got to America on January 3rd, 2024, first thing I did was call up the doctor in Pensacola. I need a medical exam appointment. I didn't know how long the wait was going to be, but it was pretty quick. But if you live in Los Angeles, or if you live in San Diego, or if you live in Dallas, Texas, or if you live in New York City, or if you live in like Seattle, Washington, if you live in a big place, it could be a waiting time to get a green card medical exam. So you find the closest one, or you find the shortest time, because you want to get it done. So if you live in San Diego, well, let's suppose you live in Los Angeles, and you can get a medical exam for a green card in Las Vegas in a week. But it's going to take 3 months to get a medical exam for a green card in LA. What are you going to do? You're going to have to go to Las Vegas and do the medical exam for the green card. That's what you're going to do. You're going to get it done. You're going to get it done. So hang in there, Boogeyman, and your wife is going to be putting, where I live, they say I can't get it by tomorrow. They say I can get it by tomorrow. Get it done, Boogeyman. Get on it. Good job. And all the paperwork that's filled out will have your wife will drop her maiden name and she'll put her new married name on there. El Piso Tube. Hello, Diego. Shalom. Shalom. El Piso. Are you in Israel? Is COVID-19 vaccination mandatory for the K1 visa interview? Not for the K1 visa interview, but for the green card. In order to get your green card, you got to have a COVID vaccination. Mandatory. And the booster. But when Trump gets sworn into office on January 20th of 2025, he might do away with that. When Trump's president, he might say, why are we making people get COVID vaccinations for a freaking green card? And he might call it, he controls this, he will control the CDC, the Center for Disease Control. He might tell them that is no longer a requirement. But right now, Uncle Biden is president. Okay, Uncle Joe Biden, he's on vacation somewhere. Nobody knows where he is. He is making you get a freaking COVID vaccination for a green card. He is. He has told the CDC this is mandatory. Change the president, change the process. Yes, Trump's going to be stricter on things like U.S. citizenship and RFEs and things like that. But as far as COVID is concerned, I will bet a case of Mountain Dew that he will eliminate the need for a COVID vaccination for the green card. And then you can correct me if I'm wrong in January, right? But right now, El Paiso, you must have a COVID vaccination plus the booster for the green card, not for the K1 visa interview. Boogeyman, also, Diego, I want to get my driver's license in Virginia with my social security card. They say you can get it here without a green card. You know anything about it? In Florida, you cannot get a driver's license without a green card. Got to have a green card, and you got to have a social security number. As for Virginia, I don't know. But here's my advice to you, Bogeyman. Do not drive in the United States while you're waiting for your green card. Don't drive in the United States while you're waiting for your green card. What if you get some idiot on the interstate, runs into the back of you, and you're driving? You don't have a green card. You don't have a work permit. All you have is an I-94. And the police come over, and it's not your fault. It's the other person behind you. But if you're in an accident while driving in the United States and you don't have a green card or a work permit or anything like that, you're going to have to show what you're going to have to give proof of your legal residency in the United States. So how do you do that? With an I-94. Here's my I-94, Mr. Police Officer. Okay. The police officer is going to report you to Immigration and Customs Enforcement to check on your I-94. ICE will now know that you got into a car accident, but it wasn't your fault. It was the idiot behind you that hit you. ICE is going to hear about it, and it could create a freaking problem for your green card application. It could. Let's suppose you're driving in town, and you get into a car accident, or you run a stop sign. Let's suppose you run a stop sign by accident, or run a red light. You don't see it. You run it by accident, and a cop pulls you over. Sir, I need to see your driver's license. Okay. And you show him if you can get it. I don't know if you can even get it. And then he's going to ask you for your I-94 if you don't have a green card, because your driver's license is going to show that you're a person waiting for a green card. If you run a red light or run a stop sign and a cop pulls you over and you're on an I-94 waiting for your green card, immigration is going to hear about it, and you could potentially put your green card in jeopardy. ICE might say, okay, well, that's a good reason to send you back to your home country. You can't follow directions. You're a danger to the Americans. You ran a stop sign. Americans do it all the time. It's, and without problems most of the time. They say, oops, and they brake. But if you cause an accident while you're waiting for a green card, there's a good chance it's going to be a massive immigration problem. Here's my advice. Don't drive until you have your green card. When you have your freaking green card in your hand, we'll put pixie dust all over your green card application, and you're driving and some idiot hits you in the back, and the cop pulls over and asks for ID. You got your green card, you got your driver's license, you're good to go. Wasn't my fault. You're good. There's no reason to notify immigration. There's no reason, right? Because you legally here you got your green card in your hand. Don't do it. Don't drive until you have your green card. JQ, so does my wife change her last name to my last name on her passport? Yes. Driver's license? Yes. Before we can apply for the green card. It would help. Not the passport, no. You can get the name changed on the passport anytime you want. But for the driver's license, you want to include if you get in your driver's license, I don't know. But you want to do it, yes, you want to include that in the green card application. The driver's license, you just go into the DMV and change it, and you pay whatever, the $50, whatever it is. But the passport going to take a little bit longer. Nick Alejandro, hey again, Diego, need some advice. I want to do a full-time name change. I am the sponsor. We are at the point where my beneficiary is about to come to the States. Should I start now? No. Nick Alejandro, when you bring your prometida, your fiance, to America, and you get married, you change her last name to your last name on Form 485, the application to adjust status. That's it. It's not complicated. Don't do anything, Nick, until she gets to America and you get married, and then you can change her last name on the USCIS form I-485. That's how easy it is. Josie, hello, Diego. Interview is scheduled 3 weeks after NOA2 expires. Will this be a problem? No, it's not a problem. Karina's NOA2 letter was 2 months expired when we scheduled the visa interview in Bogota, Colombia. Her NOA2 letter had been expired for 2 months. It's irrelevant. As soon as you schedule the visa interview and maintain contact with immigration, your NOA2 letter is automatically extended to the date of the visa interview, etc. And I'm hungry. I'm going to go eat something. Karina, I got dinner cooking. So I'm going to see you guys. What day is it today, Katie? It's Mercury's, all right? Today is Wednesday. I'll be back on Saturday. Maybe I'll do a surprise live stream when Karina's at work. If you want to ask me more questions, I've helped you a lot today, right? We'll see you on Saturday with Karina and maybe with me during the week. Francois, buenas noches.